Okay, in our previous lecture, we started Unit 2, Part 1, and in that we were discussing some basic characteristics or some basic definitions related to data transmission. We have been talking about the digital data, digital signal, analog data to analog signal, digital data to analog signal, and analog data to digital signal. These are simply the different coding schemes in which we send the data as a digital signal or an analog signal, and there are 4 possible combinations of these schemes which we have already discussed in our previous lecture. We have also defined in our previous lecture the data element and the signal element. Data element is simply the bit per second. Signal element is simply the number of voltage or current levels or signals passing per second. We also discussed about a factor R, which may be defined as a ratio of the data element to the signal element. Depending upon different values of R, we have these 4 figures which represents the transfer of information. In first figure we discussed yesterday, R is equal to 1, that is 1 data element, that is 1 bit, 1 signal element, that is 1 voltage level. So there is 1-to-1 correspondence between the data and the voltage level or the signal level. So 1 bit will be carried by 1 data level, 1 voltage level when R is equal to 1. When R is equal to half, that is 1 bit will be carried by 2 signal levels. When R is equal to 2 means there will be 2 bits traveling on a single voltage level, that is low or the high level. When R is equal to 4/3, it means it requires 3 signals to transfer 4 bits of the information. So this is all what we have studied in our previous lecture. Now let us start the today's lecture. So we can have an analogy between this factor R and the vehicle and personal analogy. We can say that one person at a time can board a one vehicle. This is one possible case. The second possible case is one person can be on a one vehicle plus there must be some karma attached to the vehicle. So this is another case. There is also possible that there may be 2 persons, one driving and one pillion on the vehicle. So this is a very beautiful analogy between the data element and the signal element ratio given by R. When R is equal to 1, we can say it as a 1 bit on 1 voltage level, which is similar to 1 vehicle driven by 1 person. When R is equal to half, that is 1 person is driving a vehicle and a karma is also attached with the vehicle. When R is equal to 2, that is 1 vehicle is driven by a person plus we have a pillion, that is 1 person on the conductor side. So what should be the idea? The idea should be least number of vehicles and maximum number of people traveling in them to avoid the traffic congestion. So the idea is same applied to the digital data and digital signal. We want lesser number of signals and more number of bits to be transferred. So this is a very beautiful and simple analogy which helps us to understand that we want lesser bandwidth by having lesser number of voltage signals and high data transfer rate, that is bit per second, kilobit per second, kilobyte per second, megabit per second, or megabyte per second. So that can be only achieved when we have a lesser number of voltage level, and each level is capable of carrying more and more number of bits. So the data rate versus the signal rate. The data rate is in terms of bit per second, number of bits traveled or transmitted per second. The signal rate is so this bit rate and baud rate are very, very important terms which we will use throughout this unit. And the relationship between the signal rate and the data transfer rate is given by S is equal to capital N by R. So how we write this expression in terms of case factor? C represents a case factor. This case factor has values between 0 and 1. So the average signal rate is equal to C into N into 1 by R. R is a factor which we have already discussed, that which is the ratio of data element to the signal element, or you may say number of bits sent per signal, that is R. Now let us discuss an example. A signal is carrying a data in which one data element is encoded as one signal element. So it means 1 by 1, that is ratio R is equal to 1. Bit rate is 100 kilobit per second. What will be the average value of the baud rate, that is number of voltage levels passing per second, if the value of case factor C is in between 0 and 1. So here we have N as 100 kb per second, R as ratio of data element to signal element. One data element is traveling on one signal element on one voltage level. So it will be 1 by 1. Case factor is taken in between 0 and 1, that is half. So baud rate will be 50,000 baud. Bandwidth is the next characteristics. We know if we are having more and more number of voltage levels to carry lesser and lesser number of bits, then obviously we are in a region where we require more and more bandwidth. So our idea is simple, and it is related to avoid the traffic congestion. What we do in the vehicles, we pack the vehicles as much as possible and reduce the vehicles on the road as much as possible to avoid traffic congestion. So similarly here also, to avoid the large bandwidth requirement, we want to send more and more number of bits on lesser and lesser number of voltage levels. So we want to increase this ratio R. So in actual practice, the effective bandwidth of these schemes is finite. So the relationship between the bandwidth and case factor and the bit rate and the ratio R is given by B minimum is equal to C into N into 1 by R. And if we want to talk about the maximum bit rate or maximum bit per second sent is equal to bandwidth times the ratio R into 1 by C. C is the case factor whose value lie between 0 and 1. The next topic or characteristics of the coding schemes is the baseline wandering. Baseline wandering is simply a concept in which the receiver will calculate the running average power for each cycle. And if there is a continuous stream of zeros and ones, then there are finite chances that the voltage and current levels will fluctuate from the average running value. And this fluctuation of voltage or current levels when a large stream of zeros and ones is received from the running average is called as baseline wandering. So baseline wandering is a fault which should not be present in the coding scheme. So to avoid this baseline wandering, we have to search for those schemes which are immune to baseline wandering, because this is an undesirable feature which may occur during the transmission of data. The next undesired feature which may present in the data transmission is called as the DC component. The DC component are the low frequency components which may be present in the signal element. So for example, in case of telephone lines, the frequencies which are lesser than the 200 Hertz cannot be sent. And for a good scheme, encoding scheme, there should be no DC component present. So this is again a negative point for the encoding scheme which should be avoided. Like the baseline wandering should not be present. Each voltage or current level should be sharply represented by the average power. DC components should not be present, that is lower frequency components are not generally taken care of. So the DC components should be avoided. The desirable feature which should be present in any encoding scheme is the self-synchronization. So what is this synchronization? To understand the synchronization, we have to understand the two things. That we have a sender station and we have a receiving station. So at the sender and receiving station, both stations should have a clock. Now I have to ask a question here, if anybody of you can answer. Do you know, have you studied the digital electronics in your previous class?
Yes, sir.
Very good. There you must have studied the flip-flops.
Yes, sir.
Very good. There you talk about the concept of a clock.
Yes, sir.
Right? Everybody no, I'm not asking what is a clock to you. I'm just asking, do you know that in flip-flops we use a clock?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So what is the purpose of that clock and what is that clock actually? Does that clock is our analog or digital clock?
Sir, digital clock.
बोलिए.
Sir, repeat करना एक बार आप.
What is that clock actually? Is that clock is our time clock or something else?
Sir, analog clock.
Else, sir.
एक बोलिए, बैक बोलिए.
सर, एनालॉग क्लॉक थी वो, क्योंकि सेट और रीसेट करते थे जब हम फ्लिप फ्लॉप के साथ वर्क करते थे, हाई और लोस की वैल्यू प्रोवाइड करते थे.
That can be an analog as well as digital, but the point is that is not related to our telephone clock, wall clock or wrist clock. That is a series of voltage pulses. Have you got the point?
Yes, sir.
So that is not actually a clock. In fact, it is a series of voltage or current pulses. So those pulses monitor the sending information as well as the receiving information. So what we are trying to study in the self-synchronization, this point is very, very important because we have to discuss the baseline wandering DC component self-synchronization in every encoding scheme. So the better scheme is the one which avoids the baseline wandering, which avoids the DC components, and which has the capability of self-synchronization. So what is the meaning of this self-synchronization? The rate at which the information is sent should be the same, the rate at which information is received. And the timing required to send a bit should be the same while decoding as well. When we are encoding the information, when we are decoding the information, the time required by one bit to travel on a voltage pulse should remain the same, else there will be synchronization error. So a good encoding scheme should have the capability of self-synchronization. For example, let us say we have a 8-bit number 1011 and 0001. So this number was sent, and if the clock were not present, the receiver will not receive the same number. It will receive one bit at the beginning and one bit in between the two 4-bit numbers. So this results into additional bits, and additional bits result into error. So the good scheme should have a self-synchronizing capability to avoid this error. We can represent this information. The data was sent as 1011, 0001. This was sent. Some coding scheme was used. Let us say here 1 is represented by high state voltage level, a 0 is written by a low stage voltage level. So here you can see 1 represented by high, 0 by low, 1 by high, 1 by high, 0 by low, 0 by low, 0 by low, 1 by high. So when the clocks are not synchronized for sending information part as well as receiving information part, then with the message 1011 and 0001 with the message, we have extra bit which are encircled as well as put in the rectangle. So this is undesirable part of any encoding scheme. So the good coding scheme should have self-synchronization. It should avoid the DC components. It should avoid the baseline wandering. Now let us understand this with the help of an example, how big this error can be if the data rates are very high. In a digital transmission, the receiver clock is 0.1% faster. Now see, 0.1% is a very small number. But if the data rate is very high, the error is very large. 0.1% faster than the sender clock. How many extra bits per second does the receiver receive if the data is sent at 1 kilobyte per second and if data is sent at 1 megabyte per second? So for 1 kilobyte per second, it means 1000 bit per second. Error is 0.1%. So in 100 bit per second, there is an error of 0.1. If the rate is 10 times of 100%, that is 1000 bit per second, the error will be 10 into 0.1, that is 1 bit. So if 1000 bits are sent, then due to fast 0.1% fast clock of the sender, we will get 1 extra bit at the receiving end. Now increase this bit rate by 1000 times, that is 1 megabit per second, that is 10 lakh bit per second. So if you multiply this with 0.1% error, we get a 1000 extra bit per second. So you can see, if synchronization does not happen between the clocks of sender or the receiver, the error may be huge, depending upon the bit rate, depending upon how fast data is sent. So it is the must and must desired feature of any encoding scheme to have this self-synchronization property. Now few more terms. After that we will close the today's lecture. Built-in error detection. The next feature a coding scheme should have is the built-in error detection. So you can easily see there can be baseline wandering, error can be possible. There can be low frequency component present in the signal, that is also an error. We also know that there can be self-synchronization error as well possible. So the good scheme should have the capability of detecting the error as well as it should be capable of correcting the error. Next one is immunity to noise and interference. The desirable feature of a coding scheme that it should be immune to external noise or interferences from the surrounding or the environment. So some encoding schemes that we will discuss have all these capability of the self-synchronization, built-in error detection, no DC component present, no baseline wandering, and immune to noise and interference. So some good schemes have all these capabilities. Complexity. A complex scheme is generally more costly to implement than a simpler one. For example, a scheme that uses 4 signal levels is more difficult to interpret than one that uses only the 2 levels. So again, this factor is the important factor which we have to take care of while deciding the use of encoding scheme. According to use, we may compromise with the complexity, we may compromise with the price. So this last slide for today's lecture, some key data transmission terms. Data element is nothing but a bit or a stream of bits. It is a single binary 1 or 0 or a combination of binary 1 or 0. If we call it as bits, then it is a combination of zeros and ones. Data rate is generally measured in terms of bits per second. The rate at which data elements are transmitted is called as the data rate. Signal element, it is in terms of digital, it is a voltage pulse of constant amplitude. In terms of analog, it is a pulse of constant frequency, phase and amplitude. By definition, it is that part of a signal that occupies the shortest interval of a signaling code. In the end, signaling rate or modulation rate, signal elements per second, it is called as the baud rate, and the rate at which signal elements are transmitted is called as the signaling rate. So today we have completed the first topic of our syllabus, that is basic characteristics of an encoding scheme. Some basic definitions useful in discussing